So Leamington is blessed with a number of choirs and no shortage of opportunities both to sing and hear choral music. But perhaps the most long established and arguably the most renowned of them all is the Royal Leamington Spa Bach Choir, formed back in 1939 and boasting Ralph Vaughan Williams as its first patron and president. Since 2024, the musical direction of the choir has been in the hands of Jim Bate, and I'm sat with him at Leamington Primary School just before one of the choir's regular Wednesday rehearsals. Jim, welcome to Life in Lem.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. So firstly, maybe just tell us a little bit about the choir. How many members do you have? How often do you perform? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're growing in number and we're quite equal in proportion, unlike a lot of British choirs. We've got between sort of 70 and 90 numbers for any given project. Of course, some people don't make every single project. And we rehearse regularly on a Wednesday, and it's just it's a real joy to be with all of the people that sing. We've got multiple projects that go on in the year, from Christmas at the beginning of the year, and a November concert just before that, through to doing spring concerts, summer concerts, and ad hoc projects as well that come around as well.
Right, so maybe 5 or 6 concerts or projects during the course of a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And it's called the Bach Choir, but it's not just Bach you perform, is it?
No. A lot of choirs, when they're first formed, try to sort of get a bit of a name by using a famous composer. So another one of my choirs is the Elgar Scholars, for example. But we do try to keep a bit of our roots in the Bach choir. So one of my first concerts, we did a different one of the Bach family in Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach's Magnificat. But yeah, we try to keep a little bit of Bach going right the way through the term or the year, and then we splash it with all sorts of different composers as well on music. Right,
and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And from your point of view, I mean, you mentioned you work with other choirs as well. What, from your experience, sets the Royal Leamington Spa Bach Choir aside from everything else?
I think a big thing is that the standard is so high. So all of our members are auditioned and re-auditioned. So I can keep track of how everyone is doing on a personal basis, but also on a quality of singing basis, and it keeps the standard really, really high. And if you then multiply that by the number of singers that we've got, it can create a very powerful sound, which is why I think we really set ourselves apart from so many other choirs who are either fewer in number or as high quality that pervades.
And you've been musical director of the choir now for 2 years. I think June 2024 you started. I mean, how do you get a gig like that?
Yeah, well, to be honest, after my master, I did a master's in choral conducting. And some sort of job opportunities board comes out from that, from the administrator at the Birmingham University, and they advertise, and I thought, that is a bit of a stretch for me, but I'll give it a go. Just being fresh out of university. And actually I find with choirs and conductors, it's not necessarily who is the better, in inverted commas, conductor, but it's the right fit for the choir. And I could tell immediately from my audition and from my interviews with the committee that it was a right fit, that I got on really, really well with this group, and consequently it's grown from strength to strength as a result.
And are you a Leamington local, or do you have to commute in to come and join the choir?
I wish I was a Leamington local. I can't afford a house here. So I live in Sutton Coldfield, but this isn't my only choir in this neck of the woods. I've got the Warwickshire Singers as well, who are based in Kenilworth. So I actually commute about 45 minutes from my house each Wednesday and Monday.
Okay, right. So a bearable commute, and I'm sure a very interesting time once you're here. And in terms of, you said when you were interviewed and you sat with the committee, you thought, yes, this is a good fit with me. Your experience in the last couple of years, has it been what you expected?
I think it's been what I expected and more. It's just, honestly, I have been able to build a really genuine rapport with the individuals, all of the singers, and the committee. And there's now a real element of trust, where they sort of say, I think Jim knows what he's doing now. Let's let him run with these ideas and projects. And they're getting more and more crazy. We've got such interesting collaborations coming up in the next year, with big orchestras, and I bring in so many different soloists that it's worked really, really well, and I've thoroughly enjoyed growing in this choir.
And one project I'm told is very close to your heart is a concert that's coming up at the end of the summer, performing Dett's The Ordering of Moses. I suspect most people listening won't have heard of that. Tell us a little bit about it.
No, so it's the second ever UK performance of this work. It's a popular work in the States and Canada. And it's by a Canadian-born composer called Nathaniel Dett, Robert Nathaniel Dett. And his parents came over to Canada from Africa. So he's of African-American descent, and that plays a really important role in the music he writes. So his ethos really was to make black spirituals music as prominent as folk music was in European classical music. So the likes of Bach in the 20th century and before that, even back to Beethoven and Brahms and Mendelssohn, all have used folk idioms and music and excerpts to bring classical music to life. Dett felt really strongly that he wanted African-American spirituals to be at the forefront of classical music. And this Ordering of Moses oratorio opens with a famous spiritual motif. And it goes right the way through the whole work, and it's just magic how it forms in so many different guises, and it's such a powerful work with really powerful imagery. I was in the first UK performance of it, singing in the CBSO chorus with Joshua Weilerstein conducting, and I said to myself then, I am desperate to make this happen myself, and I can't believe I'm so soon after that performance in I think 2021, am I doing it with the Leamington Bach? So yeah.
It was a piece. I mean, he wrote it in the early 1930s, didn't he? Why is it, do you think, it's only so recently been performed in the UK?
I think in general, female composers, non-white composers have always struggled to be able to be often published in the first instance and then hence performed in the second. And often it's the ideal of failing at the first hurdle, and without finding a publisher that wants to publish your work as a black composer or as a female composer, and so many other minorities out there, it's been difficult to come to any acclaim. And I think that authorship and scholarship now is changing for the better, to actually try and discover these composers that have been sort of marginalised and out of the centre of scholarship. There's so many female composers that I've discovered in my journey as a conductor that are really coming to the fore, and it's just wonderful to watch. So I think that's why, really.
But you're going to fix that now. Here in Leamington. How do people get tickets if they'd like to come and watch and listen?
So our tickets are already available for this project, and it's the performance is going to be on Halloween this year in Coventry Cathedral, and the tickets are available on our website.
So if someone's listening and go, not only am I interested in potentially coming to a concert or hearing one of your projects, but if Jim, someone's really keen to go, I'd really love to sing with a group like that. Are there opportunities to join?
Yeah, so we actually have open rehearsals at the beginning of most terms. So for the upcoming academic year, we've got an open rehearsal on the first Wednesday in September, so that's the 2nd. And you can just come along to Leamington Primary School for 7:30 p.m. And just have a go and see if it's something to your taste. I really, really encourage everyone to come and sing. And often I've had singers that have just been doing it for a tiny amount of time, but have so much talent and potential that just needs unlocking. And where I can, I'll try and unlock that even in a group setting.
And so we have Sahra Evans with us here, who actually did join the Royal Leamington Spa Bach Choir quite recently. Sahra, what prompted you to come and want to be a part of this?
Well, funnily enough, I've always enjoyed music, and I've been in many choirs over the years. And I was new to the area. I was looking to find new ways to find friends, really love singing. And actually my daughter recommended that I give it a go and see what I thought, and here I am.
And here you are. And I mean, Jim mentioned earlier, I mean, there's auditions and then you have to re-audition. So isn't that a little bit daunting?
Shall I tell you what, it is a little bit daunting, but the only daunting bit for me was actually stepping through the door. I'd previously, very briefly, joined another choir, but I didn't find them very friendly. So I was a little bit worried about people being friendly, but I couldn't have got a warmer welcome.
So if anyone knows Sahra from a previous choir, you've been outed. And in terms of your experience since then, I mean, how's it been for you singing with the choir?
Well, Jim makes our rehearsals really fun. He's got really great sense of humour. His passion for music is infectious. I think singing's one of those activities that hits every part of you at once, your body, brain, emotions and your social life. So it's really a pleasure to be a part of it, even if only in a small way.
So what would be your advice to someone that's maybe thinking about coming and join the choir?
I would say do it. It's never too late to shake off the cobwebs and pick up some music. It's like riding a bike. You soon pick it all back up.
So there we are, a brilliant insight into the Royal Leamington Spa Bach Choir and indeed what it's like to be a new member here. If you sort of fancy being a new member here, then of course you can get in touch with them via their website or come along to this next open rehearsal, Wednesday, 2nd of September, up here at Leamington Primary School. And if the conversation has piqued your interest about Nathaniel Dett's The Ordering of Moses, this oratorio written back in the 30s, but this is only the second ever performance of it in the UK, then again hit their website. Tickets are available for that as well. It's the 31st of October at Coventry Cathedral, and you can be a part of that. In the meantime, it just remains to thank you, Jim, thank you, Sahra, for sharing with us today. It's been a really interesting conversation, and I want to wish you all the very best with your upcoming projects.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.